Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Zero from TechDragon.info, and I am joined by Quil
Hey, hey.
and Lola. Just looking for her. There she is.
Sick Lola. Well, ish. Sorry for my nasaliness.
And today we are taking a look at Magneticraft. We have version 2.11 here, and there's the actual creator of the mod. And thank you very much. We have a current preview of the mod. This version is not out yet, so gonna have to wait before you can see all of this goodiness in here, but you will eventually. Just so we can do a nice little preview here of the mod. So let's get started. What is this mod about? Well, it's pretty much power and ore processing for the most part. There's some other funky stuff in here, but that is the biggest part of this mod, I guess. And we'll take a look here at the Stirling generator. Stirling generator generates power and heat. As you can see, we have some heat conducting, well, it's pretty much heat conducting pipe. And this will actually change color the hotter it gets. It will get redder eventually. Well, let's actually put some fuel in here. Let's just chuck one in. You'll see that the volts are going up and the Celsius is going up. The power system in here is a bit complicated. I'll try to explain it. You have volts and you have, what's the other power called? I forgot already. Joule. There we go. You'll need enough volts to actually start generating power, because first you need to build up your volts before it will actually generate anything. As we can see in the battery here, we're not storing anything yet. We need to get those volts up. But the nice thing about the Stirling generator is it generates heat as well, so we can immediately jump into steam power here. We have a infinite water block, which will act as a sort of tank that pushes out water on all sides. So if you put it next to a block, it will input water. Really nice block to have. And this mod is a lot, quite a lot built around heat as one of the, what would you call it, power transfer systems? Is that a good way to put it?
If you hover over it, the one over here says like 39, 39, 38, 38.
Yep, and Lola is compatible with the actual heat of the blocks. Let's actually take this off. You can see there's a heat port underneath here, and that's what this is connected to. So let's take a quick look. Can you place it back, Lola?
Really?
Middle click on the current heat conductor and then place it. I have my bar filled with stuff. Yeah, that's a nice creative feature. So these are boilers. They are pretty much expandable, so you can just put as many as you want here and they will all hook up and share the heat. But again, you know, more things to heat up, the longer it will take the heat up. Steam gets generated in here, goes into these pipes, the copper pipes. You can hit them with a wrench if you want to not hook it up to something. If you want to output, then it's blue, or just normal pipe. So right now we're pulling out into these two steam engines, and we'll have to wait before this actually all heats up a bit. In the meantime, Quil, can you build one of these? Let's show the audience at home how this works.
Okay. See if this dodo can do it.
Quil here is not really the most technically inclined person on the planet when it comes to machines in Minecraft. So if she can build this, then...
That's an understatement, but this thing has a nice feature.
I'm showing it to the people at home right now. Lola, if you click the Stirling generator block there, you'll see what we're looking at.
Ooh.
Yeah, it gives you a complete blueprint, and you can just look at it. How do you even manage that?
That's awesome.
Yeah, I really like that feature, and that pretty much goes for all of the multi-block structures in here. No, it really phoned. Seriously.
No better time.
Yeah, always. So yeah, I really like that feature. So you can just quickly check, and it will actually tell you what block is wrong. As you can see the bottom left corner of my chat, it will tell you exactly what needs working and where and how. So click the main block here again to form the multi-block. There we go. You did it. Woohoo! So yeah, if even Quil can make these multi-blocks, anybody can. And the same will go for all of these. Same goes here for the Refinery. And this is a brand new texture. Just got added in this version. Out here we have the input tank at the bottom. And out here we have the lights, the heavy, the light, and the natural gas output. You can just put a pipe on here and pipe it out, or put a tank directly on it and it will get put in there. So that's for processing your oil. We'll get to how to get your oil later. Now, we've been walking around this thing for a while here, a Tesla coil. Well, this thing actually does not zap you, surprisingly. Are we generating any steam yet? No, we're not up to enough heat yet. Darn it. Is the thing still running? Yeah. That's just... It actually will run quite a while on some fuel here. It's quite fuel efficient, I have to say. But anyways, we are generating power here. Should at least. Not yet. Dang it. This thing is not made for heat, by the way. That's not like its main purpose. The main purpose is just to output power directly. And it will, once it gets everything charged up and all that. That's kind of the interesting and also challenging thing about this mod. The energy will level out across the board. So the more things you have hooked up to it, the more that needs to level out. And before it will actually start generating power, it will have to be at 120 volts, give or take, before most machines will start to work. So you have to build that up first before you can do anything with them. And if you hook up new machines, or if one machine is drawing a lot of power, you can actually make it so that other machines won't work. So just having enough battery isn't always enough for actually to have these machines work. You also need to have the volts up, which is a really interesting concept that I haven't really seen in other mods yet. So we'll just let this run for a bit and heat it up. We can actually speed this up. Let's speed it up. Let's use a firebox. And what are we going to throw out? A thermometer. This thing you can just click blocks and let's throw it on the ground. We'll get it back in a second. So let's put this thing on. Doesn't matter where you put it. You can put it anywhere. Let's put this thing, and there we go. Temperature rising. Now one thing you need to really pay attention with this mod is that things can overheat and they will actually melt into lava. So do be careful. You'll find out soon enough which blocks do that. I can tell you right now, the firebox is one of them. Don't let this thing get up to like here. It will melt, give or take. So yeah. And there we go. As you can see, the steam engines are turning on. Lovely animation on them. And we should be generating some power here, almost. Come on. Getting enough volts. Yeah, it does take a while to start up the whole machine. We're not quite there yet. It's getting there. 104, 101. Generating some steam, not very efficient yet. Yeah, so it's not that easy, but I like it not being easy. We can use the temperature gauge here to see what blocks are. If the block has an interface, use shift, and you can see what the temperature is. Blocks that don't have temperature will just not show up. So that is the temperature gauge. We can now throw that away. The oil distillery is a work in progress. Currently it doesn't have an interface, it just looks pretty. Has an input at the top and an output at the back here, or the other way around, I'm not sure, and 2 power inputs. Moving on here, man, I'm going to be talking a lot here. We have the polymerizer. This will actually turn sulfur into plastic. You put in your oil, put in your sulfur, and you'll get out plastic. You have to power it as well. Power back here, output is sulfur, excuse me, input is over there, and the output is over here. And back here we have the input tank for the oil. And that's how that works. Let's take a brief look over here. We're going to take a look at Lola and Quil trying to fill this hole with water. This block is called an airlock. And let's see if they can actually manage it. Let's actually turn it day here. You seem to be having some trouble there. What's going on?
No, it's cool. No.
I love this block. Well, oh, darn, I was gonna say you almost have it. So what this block actually does is it will delete any water around it in a certain radius, and this is about the maximum radius. Can somebody dump a water in here? I want to show one other feature that it has. Hope that that's far enough away. Yeah, there we go. It will place these air bubble, which is a sort of glass, but you can just walk through it. It's a non-existing block, but it will actually block off water. So you'll create a complete airlock around this block as long as it's powered. So it's a pretty neat feature. If you want to make an underwater bridge or an underwater city, these things are going to be your friends, and they'll automatically just create an air bubble around you. Awesome. Moving over here to the next part, we are looking at pretty much everything that works with heat, while they just continue to try to work the system. So, we have a basic generator. You provide this thing with coal and water and it will generate steam and heat. Again, the heat here is a sort of universal system. You can use a firebox, it will heat up this thing as well and it will create steam. A firebox will take any solid fuel as well. You have a brick furnace, which is a furnace that works just off heat. We have a solar tower here, which I'll get back to in a second. Biomass, you can put in saplings and that sort of stuff. It will burn up and generate heat. Again, this thing can melt. We have a geothermal pump here. What we can do is we can put some lava underneath it, and I do believe it will pick it up. Oh, yeah, there we go. Just picked it up. Fills up with one bucket and it will generate heat. The heat, as you see here, gets transferred at the top of the screen there, 83, 84, throughout all of these things. And that's a pretty cool system. The heater here, you can actually power this with electricity to heat up things. So if you have electricity and you still want to use this heat system, you can. You can just use power to generate heat. To work the solar tower here, we have to use a thing called a map position. You shift click your tower, then you click on any mirror and it will point in the right direction and start heating up the tower. You can have a lot of these around. Do keep in mind the tower, if you're not using the heat in the coils here, you will actually burn it out and it will turn into lava. Seems to be a recurring theme here. Burn all the things. So yeah, that's how all of these machines work. They basically work off heat. So, any success yet? No, doesn't seem
I'm
like
making
it.
a bubble.
Over here we have the basic battery block. You saw it over there. What we can do here, let me grab one item real quick. I'm looking over it. Where is it? It's down here somewhere. There it is. A sulfuric acid battery. We can actually put this thing in here and put the power in here. You can put it at the bottom slot and put it back in the battery. You can actually pull these out with some, well, you're gonna have to use a different mod, I think. I haven't tried using the inserters. Maybe you can, not sure. But you can actually pull out a empty battery and put it in top slots. If you want to fill batteries, you can transfer power that way. You can do all kinds of funky stuff with it. So you can work with that. Over here we have a combustion engine and on top a fluid hopper, which is a pretty cool thing. Drop any fluid on top of it and as you see, the fluid disappears after it washes away. There we go. And it actually got inserted into this machine. Already have some power built up. So let's actually take a brief look here. If we hook this thing up to the power grid, it will actually have a place to dump its power. You'll see it will start using up some stuff. This battery isn't full, right?
If there's no water touching the air bubble, it goes away.
Good to know. So this one will disappear here soon enough.
Yeah, so like I put a bunch here.
Yeah, normally you're not supposed to get those things either. Okay, that's pretty cool. So, one thing you need to know about this thing is it will generate heat. I mean, it's a combustion engine. What do you expect? So we got a heatsink to go with it. You can use either a heatsink or a cooler. Both will work. Heatsink is better at lower temperatures and a cooler better at higher temperatures, but the cooler cools less. The cooler this thing stays, the better it will function and more power it will generate. So that's always a good thing. Over here we have the steam turbine. Called a turbine, but it uses steam. You pump in steam into these tanks on the side here, and you get power out of it. Power comes off the top here, and I have to say this model looks pretty damn awesome. Right now in the current version I have here, this is a highly experimental test version that I have. It was literally baked this afternoon and I'm doing a review this evening. That's how fresh it is. It's currently not working. I can't seem to pipe in the steam, so it's not quite working. It should be working by the time this version comes out, and in the current version it works as well. So just this testing version that I have that I can't show you right now. Darn it. Take a look at the interface here. What are you doing? I just saw that in the corner of my screen there. So you pump in steam and it will generate power. It's simple as that. So you need to generate quite a bit of steam to keep that thing going. So we can actually see the air bubble here going. And I'm actually not sure if the solar power is going to be good enough here to keep this thing going. It should, but I didn't put a battery in there, so it probably doesn't have a lot of reserves. I'm not sure if it actually generates power. Yeah, it does. Through the water, and it's forming a bubble. Cool.
Looks really cool in here.
Yeah, it's slowly just working its way down. It's not the fastest, as you can see. It's just once every 5 seconds or so, it will do a layer. We'll do a check. It's pretty cool. Probably gonna have to use this in our server world. But anyways, let's carry on here. Here we have a thermal pile, I guess is how you pronounce it. This thing generates a little bit of power whenever you provide it with heat and cold. So for instance, you put a lava source underneath it, you put a water source, and I should have one with me, yes I do. Put a water source there, and basically that will create a little bit of power. Let's quickly grab a battery here, let's grab a piece of cable, and put it in, and you should see, there we go, it's generating a little bit of power. What I've tested out, it seems that 2 lava and the rest water plus one side with the cable seems to yield the most amount of power, but haven't done extensive testing, but that seems to be the case. So let's quickly move over to, kind of want to say, the elephant in the room, the most cool shit in the middle here. And Lola, you might want to check this one out as well, because it's pretty cool.
Okay.
Well, here. Lola, put that stack into the chest here. Let's take a look what happens. Yeah!
Ooh.
Puts it in there, shows up here. This is the crusher. Again here, multi-block structure. Comes out here, gets put on the conveyor belt. And this is actually a feature I requested, to have the conveyor belt be able to go up blocks. It now can. Gets put in the hopper and put in the top of this machine here, which I put the sign down here, which is the grinder. Take a look here, it's grinding down. And this is what I meant. The power is draining now because 2 machines are active at the same time. So they're both going to run slower, but gets ground, and then over here gets pulled out and put into this chest. After this you could smelt this, and you'll get 2 ingots out of every one of these. There is some ore duplication going on here, or rather triplication possible. From every time you process an ore in this machine here, you have a chance to get an extra in the crusher, and you have a chance to get an extra one into the grinder here as well. So you have a sort of double chance to duplicate ores. I think we got pretty unlucky by the looks of it. No, we did get some. There we go. Got 4 silver and 6 copper extra out of it. That's pretty cool. So, let's take a look if... Oh, no, we got some more gold as well, and that's something you're going to have to deal with. You can't just directly hook this up. You're going to have some sort of sorting here to sort out the dust you get out of that, because this will actually yield some dust as well. So, out of 1 stack of gold, we got 4 extra silver, we got 6 copper, and 3 extra gold. Pretty cool. Okay, we're getting there. Let's first head over to our oil production in the back here. One thing you need to know about the oil production in this mod is... Get out of here, squid. You're drunk. Shoot. And that is the electric sword I'm using here. Could somebody make it day, please? So over here we just have some solar panels hooked up to a battery, hooked up to the pump jack. And the pump jack has a tank underneath it. A normal tank can be any tank or a pipe will do. And you provide it with power and it will start pumping. Now this thing can be a little bit fiddly to get it to work. But what you need is one of these oil prospectors, and you can actually see that it finds an oil source. Now this oil here at the surface doesn't necessarily mean that there's oil in the bottom, and doesn't necessarily mean that it will work. Seriously, nobody's gonna turn a day? Thank you. As Lola is going blub 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 blub.
There's an ink sack. Loot all the things.
So this thing can be a bit fiddly, but you need to use these. As you can see here, there's no oil here, no oil here. There's oil sources here, but there's not always an oil source in the ground underneath these things, on the surface puddles. At least not the ones that Magneticraft needs. So be sure to place it on top of one of those. So use the oil prospector here to find out where the oil is. And then you can put it in the refinery that we showed earlier. Let's quickly move on here. We're getting through the mod for the most part. There's just a lot in here. We have wind power up here. As you can see, we have a wind turbine. You can take it in and out, and you can put 3 different sizes in here. This is the smallest. We have a medium and a large as well. I'm not 100% sure what the difference is. I'm pretty sure that the large one can just generate more power, but it will take longer to get to peak efficiency. So it's just slower to get started. Wind is variable, as you can see, it will go up and down, and higher heights will give you better wind output. So place these things high up, will give you more. So, yes, I know. Your phone, shut up. Every time I'm recording. Solar, pretty self-explanatory. It uses the sun to generate power. You can hook it up with either the copper wire that you can see here, and it won't hook up, as you can see here, to the low voltage cable. It actually can, but you have to hook it up through the bottom if you use that type. As you can see, then it will hook up. So either use the copper wire to pipe into the side of it, or the low voltage cable to use the bottom. So, what do we have here? A leadstone from thermal energy, a leadstone energy cell. We actually have cross-mod capability here of powering. So what you do is you take some power, in this case solar, into a low voltage line, because that's what power comes out of a solar. Put it into a transformer from low to medium, and this thing works both ways, so it can be medium to low or low to medium, depending on what direction. Then here we have some medium cable going into the kinetic generator, and we pipe that into here. Set this thing to that, and this thing to that. As the weather degrades here and we have no solar, as you can see, this thing will start spinning and it will generate power. If I'm not mistaken, this thing will generate about 80 RF a tick. That's what it comes down to. Right now it's not generating anything because we're not generating solar power. Though. There we go, we have sun again, so this thing should start spinning up here again. Soon-ish. Maybe. Once we get some power. So let's actually hook up some power here as well, just to get some more power in there. There we go. And when the volts is going up, like I said, we need volts to actually generate power. Once we do, that's producing quite a bit more RF a tick than I thought it would. Nah, it's going down already. That was just a buffer. Not sure how much this thing generates. Apparently quite a bit. And it's not even maxed out. So this thing can generate about 300 RF a tick by the looks of it. 400? Something like that. So that's pretty nice. Then over here we have some more of the transformers and more of the cable. We have high voltage, which is currently just used for energy transfer. It is more efficient to transfer long range with high voltage, because your voltages stay a lot more stable than with the low or medium. So for long range transfer you use the high voltage. Over here we have the miner, which is a pretty awesome miner. Just your generic mine all the things miner. But this thing you need to pipe in with medium volt power, and it will start mining. And as you can see, the more power you give this thing, the more it will mine. Oh yes, this thing can take an incredible amount of power, and as you can see here, it's already spitting out blocks at a pretty decent rate, and it's now just getting pathetic amounts of power. Can you imagine actually hooking up a decent power supply to this thing? Oh yeah, you can destroy worlds. We can take a look over here at what it's doing. This is the current speed, and we're not even piping in that much power. Yeah. That's gonna be fun. Can't wait to hook up just insane amounts of power to that thing. Let's actually stop this thing. Okay. Lola, there's stuff on the ground here to loot. Where you at? I guess we lost the Lola. So, anyways, so that is the miner. We've shown this machine, shown this, and then all we have left here is the new fancy stuff that is not yet working, not yet in here. We have the electrical wooden pole here. This will actually be power transfer, as you can see, obviously. And it will connect up to wires, I'm sure, but this is not done yet. There's going to be 3 different levels of wiring, and it just looks amazing. And I can't wait to build a world where you just have these poles with wires running all over the place to actually provide power to certain places and buildings. We have a red, which I have no idea what it is. It's going to work with the text monitor and the CPU to create a computer system and computer OS and computer program to actually program these things, and I'm not sure what it does. It looks like a little drill on the front here. I'm very curious to see what this thing will do. Take a quick look here at the interfaces here. There we go. A sneak preview at what's to come. So, I guess we have a Lola that's working with water here. That's where she's left. So that is Magneticraft. Now, like I said, do keep in mind this is a highly unstable testing version I have here, although it's pretty damn stable from what I can tell, with only one machine not functioning right now. And some new stuff in here that's not done yet, but this will all soon come out. I can't give you a window when, but yeah. Anyways, thank you, Quil. Thank you, Lola, for joining me here.
No problem. Been fun.
It's mostly me talking, but thanks for
In a
being
mile
here.
a minute.
Yeah, I know. There's just so much to do, so much to see, and I just wanted to jam it all in
And
here
you like
in one.
this one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I completely forgot one block. The crafter. Crafter is a pretty awesome thing. It pretty much does what it says it does. It crafts. So if you put coal in here, it will create coal blocks. And let's just... Oop, let's recreate the crafting recipe in here. And ta-da! It will now craft coal. And if we then put the coal in here, like so, it will craft blocks again. Pretty awesome. You can just pipe in and pipe out stuff and auto craft them. Very, very nice. Auto packaging or whatever you want to do with it. Yep. Very nice. And doesn't require power, so pretty good. And I think that was it. So yeah, thank you guys for helping me out with showing off this mod. It's pretty cool. There's a lot to see, and I know I went through it really quickly. Hopefully you can understand how to make these machines here. If you have any questions, I guess Lola was AFK, welcome back. If you have any questions... yeah, it happens. I just ignore mine. If you have any questions on how these machines work, do leave a comment down below. I will help you out, no problem. I'm not showing you how to build all of these because there's this awesome freaking way that shows you exactly how to build these things. And yeah, it will tell you exactly. You saw, even Quil can make machines. I'm gonna run now before she hits me. Oh yeah. So yeah.
This bubble. I'm going to live in this bubble.
So yeah, the machines, it will tell you exactly how to build them, and you can see just what kind of blocks you need, just looking off what the texture is on them, and just looking in your NEI on what to get. So I'm not going to show you all of them, how to exactly build them, because it's already built into the mod itself. One more thing here. As you can see, all the things in my inventory here are now powered up. As you can see, it's full power. It's actually used this a couple of times. And it's full power again. Come on. It's just click, 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 click. Come on. There we go. You can barely see it, but it's powering up. The Tesla coil is actually powering our tools here. So anything in your inventory that needs power will get powered. Voltmeter, well, I haven't shown you guys this, but you can actually see what amount of power goes through things. Hold shift to use it on machines with interfaces and stuff. That thing doesn't use anything. That thing has some power. Yada yada yada. Anyways, that was Magneticraft, and I want to thank Count 970. I keep calling him Count 970. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce your name. I think I pronounced it right, I hope, for giving me this preview version of the mod. And yeah, it's looking great. Loving it so far. So thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.
See ya.
Bye-bye.